morning. I hope you're well and happy and healthy and loving life. So something came today through the post. I didn't think it was going to because it's Saturday. But I got a new deck. So I figured we could do an unboxing. I'm going to open the box because my address is plastered on the front of it. But then after that, I'm going to flip to the camera and we'll unbox it together. Okay, so here's the box. Just chuck that away. I've seen a couple of people get this recently, actually. It's been about for a while from what I understand, so I'm not sure why the sudden fascination, but maybe they're just like me and saw it and went, oh my god, I have to have it. How to get into this, because this is sealed here. Okay, oh guys, I don't want to ruin what's inside. I'm hoping that you're not picking up. I've got a fan right next to me because it's super hot today. I'm hoping that the camera's not going to pick the noise up. Oh gosh, this is some intense packaging. And I've got the flimsiest scissors on the planet as well. Okay. Be born. Oh, it's got like non-slip. The inner is non-slip. Okay. Ugh. Okie dokie. Okay. Smells nice. It's a scented deck. So it's the Taro as colour. This is in a plastic wrap, which I will. This probably help with the go. I hate plastic wrap, guys. It upsets me when brands don't use compostable plastic. There's no reason for it, you know. We have all the custom scented by Maison Cheu. Yeah, we have all the technology now to make potato, you know, vegetable compostable starches, so why guys, why? It's not good. I do not appreciate the plastic wrap. Right, I'm gonna sort my focus out in a minute. Got a little mark there. Okay. So this is about, yeah, I've got two, so that's fine. Maison Cheu. So this is about the perfume. It's the magical night, the night of enchantments. Perfumes. Come on. Perfumes and chills flow from the air and into the minds. Okay, let me see what I can do about this. It's a big deck, peeps. I've got to figure out why has that suddenly worked. I haven't changed anything. I haven't changed anything. Okay. Refocus. Come on. There we go. Better. I mean, the cards don't smell. Does this smell? Oh, okay, so that does smell. So by Ithell, Colquhoun. Is that how we pronounce it? I don't know. After I had completed the pack, I saw some slides showing nebulas in outer space and these birth of stars. These recalled my designs and confirmed my conviction of their cosmographic function. This is Mrs. Eves. The typeface or the font is Mrs. Eves. I know this because of the Gadzuk ligatures here. This is called a Gadzuk. It's a non-essential, non-functional, basically a flourish ligature. But I love it. I love Mrs. Eves. It's such a good font. Oh, it smells a bit like a like a floral soap. Okay, so let me move this out the way a minute, we'll come back to that. Taro as colour. Okay. With a note on the designs from the artist. Seeing all the way back, seeing all the way down. So this is a note by Richard Shillito. I will save this for when I get into bed. I will read it then. It's a perfectly sized little book before bed. And then, so notes about the colour. The design for a tarot pack is both personal and traditional. It renders the essence of each card by the non-figurative means of pure colour, applied automatically in the manner of psychomorphological movement in surrealism. The pack is traditional in following instructions drawn from the texts of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. It is, however, distinct from the figurative pack evolved in the Order's early days by MacGregor Mathers and his wife, Moana, for the use of their students. So I'm going to move down here. The 22 major arcana are inseparable from the rest of the pack, i.e. from the 4 court cards and the 9 decanate cards in each of the 4 suits. So, air is swords, pale yellow. Water is cups, deep blue. Fire is wands, scarlet. Earth is discs, indigo. 4 family groups appear, each dependent from one of the aces or roots of power. Each ace attracts itself to one card from among the major arcana as its Shakti or formative energy to cooperate with its manifestation. The 4 magi: the juggler, the priestess, the hierophant, and the hermit, and the princesses, with the princesses earth. The 5 daughters: the empress, strength, justice, temperance, and the star with the queens, water. The 5 lords. Okay, so they've separated it out as they would with this is very Thoth, is it not? Okay. So there's a little white book there. It doesn't have meanings or anything. I think it's it assumes that you're good with all that. But there's a lot of work on what it's based on, which is great. So one of the things that drew me to this deck was the fact that it reminds me of the work, of the colour work of Josef Albers, which I will put a link to. Josef Albers was a designer and did a lot of work with colour. Oh look, there's a little card in the bottom as well. La Rose Secret. Okay, so that's the scent. Her quested treasure still remains the perfume of a secret rose. Yeah, it does. It smells like a rose, like a really soft rose soap. Very soft though. It's not overpowering. Maybe I haven't opened the cards though yet. Again with the plastic. I mean, I understand that this needs plastic, but could they not use... I wonder if it has the same properties as plastic, this starch, compostable starch cellophane, whether that would seal in the scent, you know what I mean, guys. Maybe that's why. Okay. Okie dokie. So we've got a pretty back. This back is as strong as the smell. Does that help? Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't feel like this smells much at all, actually. I feel like it's more... Does the box smell? The box smells. And this definitely smells. This smells quite beautiful, but these don't smell so much. Okay, bottom. So, the Ace of Swords. It's weird that we start with the Ace of Swords. The Fool. In fact, I'm going to do this so I can fit two. So the Fool. Okay. So I wonder if this is in the same order as how they were mentioned here. No. Princes, queens. No, they're not. Oh, okay. So the same scheme applies in the other three suits: the Ace of Cups, Root of Power of Water, capturing the Hanged Man. So what have we got here? Ace of Swords. So I wonder if this is in the... I'm going to check that actually and come back. I wonder if this is in the order of the Deacon Wheel. That's an interesting point. The Spirit of the Ether, the Fool. I love how they've been interpreted. My colour is not really good. It's a lot greener, a lot richer colours than what you're seeing, but I'll see if I can sort that out. The Six of Swords, look at that. Gorgeous. This reminds me of when you're painting and you wash your brush out in the water and you see all the swirls, especially if you've got like a metallic paint and you see it swirling in the water. It's so pretty. Nine of Swords, the Lord of Despair and Cruelty. I mean, that is so vivid and so contrasting. Maybe that's the point. So contrasting. It's like a shock, isn't it? The Queen of the Thrones of Air. There is that metallic? No, it's not metallic. I was wondering if these dots were metallic, because they do catch the light, but they're not metallic. Pretty though. Three of Swords, the Lord of Sorrow. Five of Swords. The Eight of Swords. The King of Swords. So I'm going to just go through these. So we've got the swords, the yellows, the Queen of Swords again with the green background as the King of Swords. So all the minor arcana of the swords has a yellow background, and the Fool has the swords background of the court cards, the sword court cards. That's interesting. And the Ace of Swords is like, I suppose that's the point, is it's a starting point, it's the potential. And so the beige would be the nothingness, it's still growing. All the nutrients, it's almost like a nucleus, isn't it? Okay, so it's interesting that we see this sword background in the Fool, though. Two of Swords. Four of Swords, Seven of Swords, Princess of Swords. I must say, this is bugging me a bit. This is irritating me, seeing it over and over again. I mean, I understand it's the artist's work, but could they not have made it smaller? Ten of Swords. Okay, and we're seeing this dark blue indigo. Looks very phallic actually to me. Looks like a rabbit. You know what I mean. The Lovers. The Children of the Voice, the Oracles of the Mighty Gods. It's interesting how this has been portrayed actually. I would have imagined there would be more of a merging of colours, whereas this is more of a, again, like a cell. It reminds me of like the womb almost, and the seed growing in the womb, that sort of vibe, rather than the lovers and the coming together of the energy. But I suppose this is the result of that. The Chariot. I mean, that really does look like it's just gone, nope, I'm going my own way, and run with it, almost. Death. I feel like there's a lot of scrying potential in this deck. What do you see, you know? It reminds me of the ink blots. This looks like someone, like a deer falling, like these are the paws, or the, you know, the, not paws, hooves, or some sort of animal, but with hair, a ponytail. I wonder if I turn it around, if I would see anything else. Definitely looks like falling though, and there's a darker area here, falling into the darkness. I suppose you could see it as coming out as well though, and then leaving this behind, like shedding what you don't need almost. The moon, that's beautiful, that's beautiful. It reminds me of a book cover I worked on actually for, what was it, The Invisible Man, and I was trying to recreate like a close-up of a petri dish, and I was doing a lot of work with salts and other chemicals that I could flick into the paint to make it react. That's sort of what this reminds me of a little bit actually. The Ace of Cups. Again with the Ace we have this spotted border. This feels more contained. I think the Ace was the first one, wasn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, so this feels a lot stronger, a lot more contained than this one. Ace of Cups, the emotion, but a lot more than the yellow. I wonder how controlled this was when the artist was doing it, or whether she dropped the ink and just let it go and then looked through them. I'd like to research that a bit more, whether it was her just creating loads of different images and then choosing what ones were which card afterwards, or whether she made each card intentionally, so you know, before she put paint on paper she thought, okay, I'm doing the Ace of Cups, I've got an idea for it. That would be interesting to know, because this, you know, this is sort of, when you're painting this, I would imagine this would be quite uncontrollable, like a water, you know, wet on wet watercolour sort of thing. You don't really have much control over it. So it would be interesting to know. I think that would answer that a little bit more, how controlled the process was. The Hanged Man, the Spirit of the Mighty Waters. It's got this purple again. So this is, I'm assuming, the Indigo of Cups, which is like the emotional blue, but then we've also got this aubergine sort of colour, like a really dark eggplant aubergine colour. Prince of Cups, the Prince of the Chariot of Waters. And he's got a little bit of yellow there, he's thinking. The Six of Cups, the Lord of Pleasure. I haven't got anything that relates to the colouring from the Hermetic Order side of life. I think I've got something with the Rider-Waite-Smith colouring, write-ups, you know, but I'd be interested to see how that differs between the Hermetic side and the Rider-Waite-Smith side. So Six of Cups and Nine of Cups. It's interesting to know that, it's interesting to see that the sizes of these are quite similar as well, between the two. So we've got this same sort of yellow, but the pink is now this dark black / aubergine. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like a dark blue actually. The Lord of Material Happiness. The Lord of Pleasure, okay. So maybe this is internal, this is external happiness. So external is like this dark blue or black, and internal is pink, maybe. Queen of Cups, the Queen of Thrones of Water. I love these little dots here in the middle. It looks like the ocean, doesn't it? It looks like the edge of a salt field or something. And this deep blue. Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, I don't know if you've seen it, I think David Attenborough did something about the whales that blow bubbles in spirals at the bottom of the seabed, because the bubbles, when they blow them in circles like this, it traps the fish. The fish don't want to go through the bubbles, they think it's a threat, so it contains the fish. So they spend their time blowing the bubbles in the circle, and then they eat the fish once they get to the top, because they're all contained within that spiral of bubbles. That's what this reminds me of, especially since this looks so much like the sea. The Queen of Cups. Beautiful. Oh, I feel like that's my favourite so far, guys. Three of Cups. The Lord of Abundance. Five of Cups. The Lord of Loss in Pleasure. Okay. Loss in pleasure. So we had pink for pleasure or happiness in pleasure, and now we've got the loss of pleasure, which is this orangey red. The Lord of Abandoned Success. These Hermetic titles, God, they're so evocative, aren't they? Here we have the King of Cups. So very similar. There's the Queen. So she's got this very pretty little circle. He's got this fiery red going on. So the Lord of the Waves and the Waters, the King of the Hosts of the Sea. I think this one is still my favourite. This one looks a bit like, sorry guys, I should have muted my phone. Let me do that now. This one looks a little bit like the whale has eaten the fish. Or there's been some sort of shark attack. It looks like blood in the ocean. Two of Cups, the Lord of Love. The Lord of Blended Pleasure. Seven of Cups, the Lord of Illusionary Success. Oh, yeah. I like this two-tone for the illusionary sort of side of life. Blended pleasure. Weirdly unblended, but blended pleasure. Here we go, Princess of Cups. Oh, the Princess of Cups is stormy. She's a stormy sea. Gosh. This looks a little bit like when you see the images of the winds or the tornadoes or the hurricanes sort of moving over the surface of the earth. This looks, it reminds me of that, like there's the weather on top of the sea. The Princess of the Waters, the Lotus of the Palace of the Floods. Okay. Either that or this is a very deep part, but because of these ripples around it, it definitely looks like it's surface, on the surface. I love all these details here. It does look like a coast. There's little parts of green and yellow up here. Just gorgeous. The Ten of Cups. The Lord of Perfected Success. Giving me IKEA vibes, guys, this one. Is that bad of me to say? The Empress, the Daughter of the Mighty Ones. I wonder how much work went into pieces like this as opposed to this. This just looks like drops, whereas this looks like some pretty intense work, doesn't it, from an artist's perspective? the process behind this looks really intense, whereas this not so much. The daughter of the mighty ones, the Empress. I love the fact that she's green and pink. It makes so much sense. You've got the green for the growth and the healing and the nurturing, and you've got the pink for that feminine, sort of divine feminine energy, and this sort of nucleus vibe it's got going on. It does look like something growing, doesn't it? This is gorgeous. Strength, the daughter of the flaming sword. Okay, so this definitely does look like there's some sort of sword design going on. But strength, it does feel like this little yellow sword or energy has got to have the strength to push. There's certainly a pushing vibe here. It's pushing through all of this mess. I don't want to say mess, that sounds insulting, but you know what I mean, like it wants out. It feels like it wants out. Like it's really pushing. It also looks a bit like an iris, which is beautiful. With the blue and the yellow. Very pretty, like a wavy. What are they? The frilly sort of tulips. Justice, the daughter of the lords of truth, the ruler of balance. It feels like there's faces here. Can you see these faces? Two faces. This one maybe without a nose or a bit of a. And this looks like a flower growing this way, like an open flower. But this does look like faces looking up. Like they're being sucked, crying out. Temperance, the daughter of the reconcilers, the bringer forth of life. There's definitely the rose smell is about, but I think it's from the box. It's not from the cards. This cardstock is it's like a slightly more resistant Margaret Peterson. But it's quite thin. It's like the Margaret Peterson. It's about as thick as a Margaret Peterson Taro, but it's got a bit more resistance to it. Temperance, the daughter of reconcilers, the bringer forth of life. It's very contained, this one, extremely neat compared to the others. The star, oh my goodness, this blue, gosh, that is some gorgeous colouring. The daughter of the firmament, the dweller between the waters. Gosh, I love it. I want to put my thumb over these because they're upsetting me. I don't like visual disturbance. This is something that I struggle with. Sometimes I want everything around me, other times I want everything away. As I grow older, it's more and more common for me to... It's not necessarily... I used to be very minimalist and all my surfaces were clean and everything was put away and everything had its place. As I grow older, I feel like I'm happy to have things out, but they need to be intentional. I like things to have a home. These little signatures don't feel like they have a home. They're just whacked onto a page, and it is upsetting me. Yeah, I'll just hold it like that. I mean, I get why they're there. It's not that I you know, resent her signing her work. It's just very, very contrasting and large. Very large. It makes me wonder actually if they were this size initially. I mean, if they were this size when she painted them. This is gorgeous though. Yeah, it makes me wonder if it was this big when she initially did it, because these are very large. You can imagine if this was like a A3 or something. This would be huge. So I think they were obviously made at this sort of scale, if not a little bit bigger, which really brings me to question this work. If this was done at this scale, my gosh. Surely not, surely not. I mean, and if so, what process did she use? I mean, is it inks? I mean, I don't know if you can see, but there's little white, this does look like the sea because there's white, there's layering, and there's little white sort of surf going on around. But the process, maybe alcohol inks? I'm going to look that up. What's this? Ace of Wands. So we have this border again. It is throwing me off a little bit. I wonder if they've been putting a different order so that you don't necessarily focus on a progression, but you take the card for what it is. It's definitely doing that for me, but I will, after this, I am going to put them in order and see how they progress. The root of the powers of fire. I mean, the root of the powers of fire. I must say it doesn't feel like the root of the powers of fire, but it's an artist's interpretation. I'm trying to think of when you strike a flame, you know, initially bursts white, which I suppose this isn't white, this is like a beige, soft beige colour. I've got window light coming in here, so I wonder if I do that. Yeah, so you can see it's like this beigey colour. Judgment, the spirit of the primal fire. I mean, that does look, that is, I feel like that's a good one. Primal fire. That's giving me like sitting around the fire vibes, you know, chanting and dancing and sort of wild spirit going on. Prince of Wands, the Prince of the Chariot of Fire. This is beautiful. This looks like a poppy to me. Very poppy-esque. Six of Wands, Lord of Victory. Certainly potent. Nine of Wands, the Lord of Great Strength. Queen of Wands, oh gosh, look at the detail. So hang on, what was this? This was the Prince. Okay, so we've got this dotty. It's not as detailed as the cups, I don't think, but it is still just gorgeous. Certainly more detailed than the minors. Three of Wands, the Lord of Established Strength. Five of Wands, my birth card. Mine and my son's, actually. The Lord of Strife. These lines through here. It looks like something's clawed, almost. Or something's been lifted and it's pulled this energy through the blue. The Eight of Wands, the Lord of Swiftness. That looks like a little face there. Whether that's intentional or not, I don't know. Can you see what I mean there? King of Wands, here we go. We've got the same circle here as we had in the, gosh, what was it? I want to say the Queen. So there's the King. It was the Queen of Cups, look, circle. So we've got the Queen of the Thrones of Water and the Lord of the Flame and Lightning, the King of the Spirits of Fire. Okay. Love this red and green. It's gorgeous. It looks like a really rich velvet. Looks a bit like lips actually here, like a kiss. The Two of Wands, Lord of Dominion. Four of Wands, the Lord of Perfected Work. The Lord of Valor, Seven of Wands. Princess of Wands, here she is. Now, is this looks like a giraffe to me. Does it you? Or like a diplodocus eating something here. Looks like Dippy from the Natural History Museum. Ten of Wands, Lord of Oppression. Oh, look at that. Oppression is something that is playing out in not in my life right now, but definitely, well, a little bit in my life, but definitely in my family right now. We have got a lot of oppressive energy going on that we are struggling to fix. The Emperor, Son of the Morning, Chief of the Mighty. Look at that. Does it look like a kiss? Does anyone see these lips? The Wheel of Fortune, the Lord of the Forces of Life. Beautiful. It's almost like you're looking out from the middle of a sunflower and into the ocean. The Devil, the Lord of the Gates of Matter, the Child of the Forces of Time. The Tower. A lot of fire energy here in the Tower. The Lord of the Hosts of the Mighty. Hello darling, I'm recording. Are you okay? It's okay? You okay? I am. Yeah. Hi people. Hi people.
Do hi people.
Well, I might cut it out. I might not.
Oh,
Don't touch.
God.
Don't touch. No. Okay.
Hi,
All right.
people.
Okay. Give me cuddles. Love you.
Love you too.
Sorry, guys. That was my boy. Bless him. The Tower. Yeah, a lot of fire energy here. Have we seen discs? I'm interested to know the colour of the discs. No, so the green is not a disc colour. I thought it might be an earth vibe. The Sun, the Lord of the Fire of the World. I mean, that does look like something's on fire, doesn't it? Definitely. And it doesn't, I mean, it's sun energy, but not the sun. The Ace of Discs. So is discs this indigo colour? Is that what we've been... Okay. So yeah, water was deep blue, earth is indigo. So the indigo colours that we were looking at way back here around the edge, this is earth. Okay, that makes more sense. The World, the Great One of the Nighttime. I love that, that's beautiful. Prince of Discs, Prince of the Chariot of Earth. Six of Discs, the Lord of Material Success. And we've got this pink again, which we saw as pleasure earlier. Or happiness, I can't remember which one. The Lord of Material Success. Again, very contained energy there. Very contrasting And the same here, 9 of Discs, the Lord of Material Gain. I suppose it's sort of saying, talking about that restrictive element, you know, the more you have, the more you're tied down almost. That's what I'm getting from it anyway. The Queen of Discs. This is very inky. I don't know whether it's the colour or whether it's this sort of transparent, you can see where the concentration is, I suppose, in the colours. The 3 of Discs, the Lord of Material Works. Five Discs, the Lord of Material Trouble. The minors seem very similar. Not much to them, and that saddens me a little bit. I thought there would be more going on with the minors, especially given how much you have to play on with each card. You know, it's not like you haven't got enough context. 8 of Discs, the Lord of Prudence. But then when you hit these court cards or the major arcana, these look so much more intense than these, and maybe that's why. Maybe she did the major arcana first and then moved on thinking, okay, I have to make these smaller energy. That would make sense, I think. King of Discs, the Lord of the wide and fertile land, the King of the spirits of the earth. It does look like it could be the plains of the earth with the water and these sort of tributaries. 2 of Discs, the Lord of harmonious change. It's interesting that we have these really curly edges here. Harmonious change. Again, with this minor thing, this is so contrasting, and I wouldn't necessarily consider this a harmonious change because of that crazy contrast. I mean, I understand that the colours were set. She was working on the colours of the Hermetic Order. And so when you bring that into question, how would you present a harmonious change? Interesting. 4 of Discs, the Lord of Earthly Power. This looks a little bit like the Africa outline. Very slightly, you know. Considering it's wet on wet paint, I feel like this has got a little bit of this Africa outline going on here. It's not perfect, but I see it. This also looks a little bit like 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, giving me sort of Barney the dinosaur vibes. I'm wondering if it also looks actually like this might be a road. You know, if this was like a vista, this would be a road, and then maybe mountains in the background, and a sort of filling in the white space. The 7 of Discs, the Lord of Success Unfulfilled. And this looks angry, doesn't it? It looks like it is disturbed. Which, when I go back to that Harmonious Change card, where was it? Material Trouble. Have I gone past it? Harmonious Change, it's here. You know, these colours are quite close together, and even that, they're not mixing. They look agitated. So I suppose when you have colours that are so contrasting, how would that work to be harmonious? This does look like a portal though, like a door opening or closing, you know. We have the circle again. Princess of Discs, the Princess of the Echoing Hills, the Rose of the Palace of the Earth. Are these moons? Is this moon phases? Because they're not entirely... Let me see if I can focus. And again, come on, come on, come on. Maybe because my thumb's in it. They're not entirely round. Maybe they're the moons. Like a cycle. Okay. I'm just going to have to look off my focus again because I refocused it manually. Okay. 10 of Discs, Lord of Wealth. And it does, this looks commercial to me. Really commercial, like commercial branding colours. The Lord of Wealth. Yeah. Corporate. This looks like someone that would wear a suit, work in the financial district. Yeah. And the fact that we have this ring, it looks like, I mean, I feel like it was created by putting yellow onto blue and then dropping blue in the middle. However, it does look like someone's just drawn a ring, like the artist has drawn a ring of yellow, which may be connected to the wealth. The Magician, this is also my birth card. It's definitely got Fool vibes going on, that, and I feel like this is what I expected. This sort of tiny, tiny spark in the middle is what I expected of the Aces a little bit more, like that tiny, tiny spark, that seed, that potential, that spark of potential. This more so. We've got dark indigo. I keep referring to this. So the deep blue, sorry, not indigo. Deep blue is the water, and yellow is the swords. There's no scarlet, so there's no fire in this one, and there's no indigo either. Oh, there is a bit of influence. So this is indigo, deep blue, and yellow. So there's no fire here, which is odd for a Magician card. He usually has all of the colours, all of the suits, right? Everything at his disposal. You have everything you need, but no red. The Priestess. The Priestess of the Silver Star, the High Priestess, the Priestess of the Silver Star. I mean, this does look very otherworldly compared to everything else. I was just about to say, is this the only deck with this grey colour in, but it's not the grey, is it? It's this green. This is the only place we see it, maybe? I'm going to check in a minute. But it does look very otherworldly compared to everything else, and it does look Portal-esque, doesn't it, again? The Hierophant. Oh my goodness, look at the Hierophant. Gosh, so many things going through my head right now. What could it be? Trying to make sense of that. Looks like something from a film. Like you're hidden in a cave, and there's this flash of something past the entrance to the cave you're in. Or maybe it's protecting you, I don't know. The Hermit. The Prophet of the Eternal, the Magus of the Voice of Power. Magus or Magus? I want to say Magus. I feel like that's more appropriate. This green, is this the same one in the Hierophant? No. So this is like a turquoisey colour. The High Priestess, sorry, not the Hierophant. The Hermit. Does it feel like it's going within? Not really. Does it feel contained and closed off? Not really. I think maybe this bit does, but then because you've got this and it's that transition between. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to try and put these in order now. Okay, so I am back. My camera is balancing on a tower of boxes and books because these cards are huge and I can't get them all in shot. But I have ordered them. They're not in any specific order this way, but I've ordered them in order from, you know, 1 through to the quartz, and then I have the majors here. So looking through, I'm going to just flip through the progression of the majors and see if there is any progression at all. I don't think so. Looking at it, it doesn't feel like it. Love this card. This is very much like a court card. I'm going to pull that one out because that is extremely similar to one of the courts, or the courts of a suit here. So these are all very different. However, I do feel like, see, there's this full dotting here. There's also dotting in this one. I do feel like, and this one as well is very, I want to say cups or air, I'm not sure, I'm going to check, I'm going to pull that one out as well. Okay, so no obvious progression in the majors, although definitely, you know, if you're looking at the techniques, definitely the potential there to relate certain majors to certain aspects of the other cards. This dotting, for instance, you know, this is something that I suppose you would work on when you're working with the deck yourself and getting to know it. There are various dottings related to the aces, again with the moon as well, so judgment and the moon. Maybe it's unclear yet, things haven't taken hold, it's that it's trying to establish itself, but there's nothing to get traction on, maybe. So this is maybe an unclear view. Judgment is trying to sort things out. And then the ace is, you know, it's potential, but it doesn't know where it's going to go yet. So that might be that unclarity, that fuzzy sort of unclear vibe. So I feel like there might be sense in the techniques used there. So we see the 4 aces. Again, as I said before, I felt like the aces would have more of that magician, you know, this sort of seed. These are very, very big. Sorry, that's my phone. Very large areas of colour for the aces. They're bigger than what I would expect anyway. And also, you know, more emotion, overflowing emotion, you know, does that suggest that? Because this is a lot larger. Can I look at these in relation to each other? Sadhana from the intuitive. Hang on, I need to check her YouTube channel name. Let me check because I don't want to get it wrong. Integrative Healing. Turn my Wi-Fi off because I'm up with the gods today. Integrative Healing with Sadhana. She was saying that with art decks, she really does want a big, thick, heavy white book. She wants a manual, she wants people, she wants the artist to talk through their artwork and give her reasoning behind why they've made the decisions they've made, especially if it's not as obvious as, you know, drawing upon the standard iconography and symbology that we are used to, which I agree with as well. But this comes with the smallest little white book. I'm going to have a look and see if there's any other books or interviews or anything like that online. If I find them I'm going to put them in the description of the video, so look for those. But as it stands, this is an unboxing, so I have no idea. Okay, so the twos. So the swords are yellow, the discs are like a aubergine, I thought. Yeah, so this is the aubergine colour. This is the deep blue, right, that we see with the cups. Yeah. So there's a lot of emotional links. Yeah. And then the ones are red. These are very similar. I mean, I'm not going to talk about these two for too long. I just wanted to see if there was a progression. Again, similar colours. I feel like I'm doing this wrong actually. I'm going to move them down here. Oh, I wonder if it will let me. I'll do that in a minute. That might be easier. There we go. Okay. Sorry guys, as I said, huge cards. In fact, let's have a look. See how big these actually are. This is the Margaret Peterson here. So, in comparison to the Margaret Peterson, which is a hefty size deck, you know, these are big cards. This is the original with the borders as well. These are huge cards. Okay, so we're getting some more of this aubergine now in the discs. Black for the 4 here. Again, is it black or is it aubergine? It's hard to see because of that overlaying of the colours. Black again with the 4 in the swords, or this aubergine. In fact, all of them, aubergine, 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 aubergine 4, has this earth energy in it. 5 of Wands. All have this orange. So orange is obviously the chaotic, the chaotic colour. Some really is, this is emotional blue. Again, emotional blue in the swords. And the ones. So we have the pink, the pink, the pink, the pink. Okay, fine. So the 6 is all about the pink. Okay, this is what I needed. I needed to see this sort of progression and connection between I work numerologically and elementally and intuitively. So for me, relating, I suppose I will find traction with this deck when I relate it to the numerological associations and the elemental associations, and then I will work up from there. So again, we have this chaotic orange in the 7s, which makes sense because we've got this dynamic energy, this dynamic growth happening in the 7s. Again, we have this black / aubergine. It's definitely aubergine on the yellow because you can see it overlaying on the yellow, but on these not so much, you can't really see, but I'm assuming it's the aubergine, which is the earth, or the 8s, which I suppose is that sense of maybe grounding, mastery and grounding. The 9s again have aubergine in, this one not so much, funnily enough. Yellow in all of them though. It's all mental, reaching a point, culmination with the 9s. Communication, connection. And then the 10s. 10 of Swords. Our rabbit. I'm only ever going to see that as a rabbit now. I'm only ever going to see that as a rabbit. We have Mr. Corporate going on here. This is giving me Wolf Street vibes. Ten of Wands, Lord of Oppression. Interesting. And then, so the other thing that I noticed as well when I was putting them into order is that actually with the Thoth, we have the princess, the prince, the queen and the knight in the king position, instead of the page, the knight, the queen and the kings that you were getting Rider-Waite-Smith. This is a mixture of the two. We have the princess, the prince, the queen and the king. So no knight, but we do have, so we have the king and queen of the Rider-Waite-Smith, and we have the prince and princess of the Thoth, which is interesting. I wonder why. So here I wanted to drag this card out. So this is the world, which is really similar to the quartz, the discs. Which, does that suggest that we're looking at the material realm, our physical space, more than we are everything else with the world? And then the Hanged Man is very similar to the cups, the quartz of the cups. It's got this aubergine spotting going around it. It's got the touches of the green that we're getting for this sort of coastal vibe, and this deep blue, light blue, oceanic sort of thing going on. This is just beautiful. But again, we've got the dotting. We've got the dotting here, and we've got the dotting here that we see in the aces for the swords and the wands. Maybe it's active. Maybe it's an active energy thing. That would make sense as well with the aces. It's active energy. Whereas this is receptive. This sort of water, fluid, this fluid energy as opposed to this spotting. So maybe these dots are the striking, and this is the fluid, this receptive. You can merge easily with it. Maybe. Maybe, maybe, maybe. Okay. I'd be interested to see if we have this circle in each suit. So there's one here, there's one here. So we've got it on the Princess of Discs, we've got it on the Prince of Swords. We've got it on the Queen of Cups, and then the King of Wands. So yeah, we've got one for each suit, all in different alignments. That's interesting. Okay, so again, looking at this world card, I'm sure there are other cards that relate to these as well. This is quite emporic. Emporic. Let me find the Emperor quickly. There's the Emperor. Maybe not. Not so much. Judgment. But we've got this green here in Judgment, which makes sense. The Fool, very, very sword vibes going on with the Fool. Super sword vibes. Again, the Devil, the same as the World. Pretty similar. Okay. So we've got some yellow going on. We've got a lot of thought with the Prince of Wands here, a little bit of thought with the Prince of Cups. In fact, there's a little bit in all of them. I'm starting to think that those dots are active. The more I push through the deck, the more I feel like they are this active energy. But then and then we have this orange, chaotic orange in the King of Discs. This is more of a red, this is more of a wand, fire. This is more of the fives, you know, the chaotic orange that we saw in the fives. Yeah, okay. Well, we're certainly off to a good start with it. I'm going to have fun with this one, I think, because it is quite interpretive, and part of me is wondering whether finding information about it would be a good thing or a bad thing at this point. Anyway, I'm going to do a bit more work with it, and I'm going to really enjoy it as well. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing. I'm certainly going to enjoy working with this tarot deck. I adore the fact that it's got such amazing scrying potential. I adore the fact that it is really fulfilling my desire to explore colour combinations and colour interactions, and leading me onwards from the Josef Albers studies that I have done in the past. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. I must say though, it doesn't smell. The deck doesn't. It's supposed to be a scented deck. It doesn't really smell. The box smells, but I think if you were going to put it in a bag or on the shelf or in a scarf, I don't think you would have the smell. Because I've heard that some people, one of the reasons that I was a bit worried about getting it was because of the scented nature of the deck, because I'm quite funny with smells. If I buy a perfume that I love but it's too strong, or there's just a note in the perfume that doesn't sit well with me, I will have migraines all day and I will have to stop wearing it. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a strong smell, just one that doesn't agree with me for whatever reason. So I was a bit panicky about it, but it is a very soft, gentle smell. I have heard other people saying that it gave them a headache, but I think if you put the box away, I don't think you would have that trouble. And even the box itself, I find it very, very soft. It's not, you know, you wouldn't walk into the room and go, oh, the Tarot of Colour, Taro's colour is out again, you know. It's not overpowering at all. And I think it needs to be under your nose in order for you to really smell it. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. Now the next thing I want is an artist to explore tarot as sound. Oh please, and maybe taste, that would be nice, although it wouldn't last long, would it? I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm sorry I'm in my bedroom and the light's not good and the shadows are a bit strong and things, but hopefully you've got the general idea of the deck, and it's been so fun to unbox it and explore the deck with you all. I realise this is a super long video again. I hope to see you soon anyway. Blessings, love and light. Have a great weekend if I post this before then. If not, I hope you had a great weekend, and I'm going to stop rambling now and leave you all to your tarot obsessions if you're anything like me. Bye guys.